Late morning. January 27, 2026. A quiet Monday in rural Nova Scotia took an unexpected turn when RCMP officers carried out an arrest warrant in Pictou County. The man taken into custody was 34-year-old Daniel Robert Martel, a name already known across Canada for a heartbreaking reason. He had been the stepfather figure to two missing children, Lilly Sullivan, 6, and Jack Sullivan, 4, who vanished months earlier. But this arrest was not for anything related to the missing children. Police confirmed Martel was charged in a separate criminal matter involving sexual assault, and forcible confinement. Investigators were explicit: the complainant in this case is an adult, and the allegations stem from circumstances unrelated to the children's disappearance. The distinction mattered. Public attention immediately surged online, but RCMP spokespersons moved quickly to clarify that these charges involve different alleged events, different timelines, and a different complainant. Martel was later released on conditions. A court appearance was scheduled for early March. As with all criminal cases in Canada, he is presumed innocent unless proven guilty in court. Still, the arrest reignited intense public focus. Because Martel had already been at the center of national attention for another reason: the ongoing mystery of Lilly and Jack. Nearly 9 months had passed since the children were reported missing. Despite massive searches, thousands of tips, and continued investigation, they had not been located. Their disappearance remained one of Nova Scotia's most distressing unsolved cases. Now, with Martel facing serious allegations in a separate matter, questions multiplied. Speculation spread rapidly online, but law enforcement remained firm: the two cases were not connected. Behind the headlines, two legal tracks were now moving forward at the same time, one involving alleged crimes against an adult, and another still searching for answers about two young children lost without a trace. And before examining the new charges, we have to return to the beginning. To the morning Lilly and Jack vanished into the woods. Because that day started like any other, until it didn't. May 2, 2025. A rural property in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia, a sparsely populated area surrounded by forests stretching for miles. That morning, at around 10 a.m., a 911 call came in. Lilly and Jack Sullivan were missing. Their mother reported the children had wandered away from the home and could not be found. RCMP responded immediately. What followed was a large-scale search effort rarely seen in such remote terrain. Ground crews moved through dense woods. Helicopters scanned overhead. Search dogs tracked scent trails through brush and wetlands. Volunteers from nearby communities joined the effort, forming human search lines across rough, uneven land. But the forest gave almost nothing back. Investigators recovered only a few puzzling items. A pink blanket belonging to Lilly was discovered in 2 separate pieces, one fragment found tangled in a tree roughly a kilometer from the house, another located in a trash bag near the property. A small boot print was also noted, but it could never be conclusively linked to either child. No other clothing. No remains. No definitive trail. Months later, cadaver dog searches covering a wide radius still produced no answers. In cases involving missing children, investigators naturally examine the people closest to them. Both the children's mother and Daniel Martel were interviewed extensively. Both cooperated with police. Both provided statements. Polygraph tests were conducted as investigative tools, though such tests are not admissible in Canadian courts. Public scrutiny grew intense. Online theories multiplied. Media attention expanded beyond Nova Scotia. Yet officially, investigators said little about conclusions. The case remained active, complex, and unresolved. Behind the scenes, thousands of tips poured in. Officers reviewed surveillance footage, trail camera recordings, and dash cam videos. Every piece of data was analyzed, logged, and cross-referenced. Still, the central question remained unanswered. How could 2 young children disappear from a rural home without leaving a clear trail? As weeks turned into months, hope mixed with uncertainty. Family members made public appeals. Posters spread across the region. A reward was offered for information. And through it all, Daniel Martel became one of the most visible figures associated with the case, speaking publicly, denying involvement, and expressing frustration at speculation. But his public statements would soon draw attention of their own. Because some of what he said raised as many questions as the silence did. As the search for Lilly and Jack continued, Daniel Martel did something not all people in similar situations choose to do: he spoke to the media. In interviews, he described the emotional toll of the investigation and insisted he had been transparent with police. He positioned himself as someone cooperating fully, someone equally desperate for answers. At one point, he referred to himself in the third person, suggesting public perception had already judged him unfairly. He spoke about the burden of suspicion, the strain of online accusations, and the feeling of being watched by the public eye. These interviews kept him in the spotlight, and scrutiny followed. Partially unsealed court documents related to search warrant applications later revealed details about tensions inside the household prior to the children's disappearance. According to interview excerpts contained in those documents, the children's mother had described arguments in the relationship and alleged instances where conflicts became physical. These statements appeared in investigative records, not court-tested findings. They represented allegations discussed during police interviews, not proven facts. Martel publicly denied any physical violence. In his own statement to police days after the children went missing, he acknowledged arguments but said the relationship had normal ups and downs. The couple separated soon after the search began, as pressure and attention intensified. None of these details resulted in charges related to the children. Investigators did not publicly label any family members as suspects. The disappearance investigation continued on its own track. Still, public narratives often move faster than official ones. And then, 12 days after those documents became public, the story shifted again. Because police announced that Daniel Martel had been arrested, not in connection to the missing children, but in an entirely different case. A case with serious allegations. And a timeline that began before the children vanished. But what exactly were those charges, and what happens next in the legal process? When RCMP confirmed Daniel Martel's arrest, they were precise in their wording. He faced 3 criminal charges: sexual assault, and forcible confinement. All 3 allegations involve an adult complainant. Authorities emphasize that victim identities are protected in cases of this nature. Court documents indicated the alleged offenses were said to have occurred between September 2024 and March 2025, a time period before the children's disappearance. Martel was released on conditions, including no contact with the complainant and requirements to report address or employment changes to police. His first court appearance was scheduled for March 2. These proceedings are separate from the missing children investigation. Different facts. Different alleged victims. Different legal pathway. Under Canadian law, criminal charges represent accusations, not conclusions. The Crown must prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. The accused has the right to defense, legal representation, and a fair trial. If a plea of not guilty is entered, the case could take months, even years, before trial. Evidence would be presented. Witnesses examined. Arguments tested. Meanwhile, the investigation into Lilly and Jack would continue independently. 2 parallel processes. 2 very different questions. One about alleged crimes involving an adult. The other about 2 children who vanished and have yet to be found. And while courtrooms prepare for legal proceedings, investigators remain focused on the unanswered mystery that first brought this family into national headlines. Because despite everything else happening, Lilly and Jack are still missing. Months after the disappearance, the search effort had evolved into a long-term investigation. RCMP reported reviewing thousands of tips and analyzing thousands of video files from trail cameras, vehicles, and security systems. Each tip, no matter how small, was logged and assessed. Investigators said they were building a clearer picture of movements, timelines, and environmental factors. Forensic analysis remained central. Evidence recovery in wooded terrain is slow, methodical work. Officials expressed cautious confidence that answers would eventually emerge. But no timeline was given. Public appeals continued. The Nova Scotia government maintained a reward for information that could help resolve the case. For the children's mother, uncertainty remained a daily reality. For the community, the story never fully left the headlines. And while the criminal case against Daniel Martel moved toward court proceedings, police repeated a crucial point. The two matters are not linked. Still, public perception is shaped by emotion as much as evidence. Two missing children. A stepfather facing serious charges in another case. A rural landscape holding its secrets. It is a situation that demands patience, and careful attention to facts rather than assumptions. Because investigations follow evidence, not speculation. And in this case, the most important evidence, the children themselves, has yet to be found. Which leaves one final question that still echoes across Nova Scotia. As legal proceedings begin in one case and investigative work continues in another, it's vital to separate what is known from what is assumed. Daniel Martel has been charged in a criminal case involving an adult complainant. He has not been convicted. Under Canadian law, he is presumed innocent unless proven guilty. He has not been charged in connection with Lilly and Jack's disappearance. RCMP have been clear on that point. The children's case remains open, active, and unresolved. Courtrooms operate on evidence, testimony, and legal standards. Investigations operate on leads, forensic analysis, and time. Some cases resolve quickly. Others take years. Meanwhile, two children remain unaccounted for. Lilly would now be 7. Jack would be 5. Their disappearance remains the central tragedy. Whatever unfolds in court in the coming months, one reality does not change: somewhere, the answer to what happened to Lilly and Jack exists. Investigators believe evidence is still out there. Someone may know something. A detail that once seemed small could become critical. Until that moment comes, two parallel paths continue, one through the justice system, the other through an ongoing search for truth. And as both move forward, the hope remains the same as it was on the first day. That one day, the mystery will end. But until then, the search goes on.